all these USAID disclosures, is the mainstream media cannot ever say that anything this administration is doing is positive. So even if they find unbelievable corruption,
right,
and they've found some really wild shit, like what was the $4.7 trillion in untraceable money?
Oh yeah.
I sent that to you, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that was DOGE. Was digging through essentially the way that money is audited within the government, and they look at the data sets and how things are divided and how you have to explain what's going on. And the idea is that there's a lack of links to payments, outgoing payments, budget line items. So this payment goes out. What is it for? Right? It would be the same thing if you had I have a business. And in that business, you have to know what you're spending your money on, right? That's a logical thing. I'm not a rocket scientist. But what they're saying is that there you go.
Yeah, here it is. So it's the Treasury Access Symbol, TAS, is an identification code linking Treasury payment to a budget line item, standard financial process. In the federal government, the TAS field was optional for $4.7 trillion in payments and was often left blank, making traceability almost impossible. As of Saturday, this is now a required field, increasing insight into where money is actually going. It would be like U.S. Treasury for the great work. It
would be like if I got my monthly reports, my monthly numbers from our finance director, and I looked at it, and there's the outgoing line, so I can see how much money's going out. But there's nothing that links it to where did it go? Did it go to pay a vendor? Did it go to pay rent? Did it go to pay staff?
Who bought a jet?
Yeah, who bought a jet? Yeah. By the way, when a company buys a jet, that's a key fraud indicator.
Well, this is what we're hiking today. No, I don't have the bear spray. I can't read my notes and manage this bear spray and a walking stick all at the same time. But this is going to be interesting. We are deep in here. So far, I've only seen 2 deer. Let's get into the video. Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. February 20th, 2025. Let's get into it. Wasn't that a great video up front with Joe Rogan? Boy, I tell you, Joe Rogan has come around to the good side of the force. He left the dark side. And anyway, he was talking about the 4.7 trillion in the field. I'm just real curious about what they did. There's 2 ways you can make a required field. You can just check a box, and then that becomes a required field, which means it has to be filled in before the record can be saved, or you can make it part of a key. And I'm wondering if he makes it part of a key, that's going to be a lot more difficult for the corrupt Democrats, if we ever have another Democrat administration, to change that back so that it's not a required field. But can you imagine $4.7 trillion? Nobody knows where the hell it went. That's insane. So, I always harp on this. I'm getting back to, I think there's 5 types of Democrats now. You've got your totalitarian, power-hungry Democrats. That'd be your Chuck Schumer, for example, Nancy Pelosi. Then you got your meat puppet Democrats, which I thought were by and large, the majority of the Democrat Party. But I'm beginning to think not. And then I told you have your satanic, pedophile, demonic Democrats. Now I'm adding a kind of a new category, but it goes across the other 3 categories. You got your corrupt Democrats. I don't think there's a single Democrat that's not corrupt. What we're finding out, this probably be a 2-part video. The stuff we're finding out is like there's so much government money that's been going to Democrat coffers all over the nation almost every NGO, every charity. No wonder the Democrats had $2 billion to spend on Kamala Harris in the last election. I told you, I mean, kickbacks coming from Ukraine, everywhere. And then, of course, you got your lying Democrats, but I think that goes across all the categories, because anytime a Democrat's lips are moving, they're lying, man. I mean, that's for sure. By the way, Kash Patel passed. Every single Democrat, like I told you, they're the Borg, the hive mind. Every single Democrat voted against Kash Patel. So that was, we knew that was going to happen. But Mitch McConnell crossed the line and voted for. So that made the vote 51-49, which meant that we didn't have to have, the VP come in there and advance and break the tie. So plus, I thought Mitch McConnell had already announced that he was retiring in 2016, but that everybody's all over X saying, "Oh, he's going to retire," and I'm like, I thought that was already going to happen. Maybe I was being psychic, right? Maybe I dreamt it and thought it was for real, but now it's for real. And maybe that's why he voted for Kash Patel, because I hate to say it, with Kash Patel in charge of the FBI, Mitch McConnell's corrupt to the core. He might come into the bullseye of the FBI, and he was hoping maybe by voting for Kash Patel that some of that investigation might get swept under the rug. I don't know. Who knows what the turtle was thinking. But it's just good that he's going to be gone. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. I wanted to get Ukraine out of the way up front. The news is that Trump is not going to... I got to kind of keep my eye on the trail. This is a tough hiking trail here. I tell you, I trip so easily since I broke my neck. I got to take it nice and slow. But anyway, it's amazing, because the scuttlebutt is that Trump has cut off the weapons being delivered to, or at least put a pause on the weapons being delivered to Ukraine. And that's mainly because of Zelensky. I don't know. I mean, Zelensky's been saying some nasty things about Trump. And in fact, we sent somebody from the Treasury, I can't remember the name, over there to audit, where the money's been going in Ukraine. And from what I understand, Zelensky didn't even meet with him. They said Zelensky was asleep. And basically he was treated very badly. And, going into Ukraine, that's kind of dangerous, So anyway, and boy, I tell you, there's a lot of stuff that people are learning about Ukraine. I guess Gonzalo Lira, Elon posted, that was an American reporter that they murdered in Ukraine, or the Biden administration allowed them to murder him. They could have gotten him out anytime they wanted, All they had to do is threaten, Ukraine with cutting off some of the funds, $350 billion. A lot of that money came back. So I don't know if we're going to get an audit from Ukraine. Sounds like they're not going to cooperate. But, I wanted to compare that to, you're biting the hand that feeds you. I mean, think about it. I've spent a major portion of my life in hospitals. And what shocks me is when people treat the nurses badly. They'll pinch them on the ass or holler at them and give them a hard time. And I mean, I'm like, nah, man, I was always really nice to the nurses because, I mean, they're taking care of me. You don't know. I mean, they could always let you lay in your urine or your poop or maybe, I don't put anything malicious with them, but I mean, they can certainly ignore you or, give you bad food. That's crazy to treat a nurse badly. I mean, that's just, people are nuts. So anyway, this is going to be a two-part video. Because we're going to hit, by the way, I wanted to talk about the last video. Got a lot of pushback on that. But I wanted to show people what war is all about. And when Trump, because there's people all over X talking about how Trump is a Putin puppet, and obviously, for him to want to end that war makes him in Putin's pocket and all this other bullshit. No, Trump just wants the dying to stop. And I wanted to show you, I called that my death video. And I've been putting that together since the war started back in, that's why the quality of the video was so bad. Because that was back when I was just really making videos and didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I mean, it did show, I thought, by the way, I got an 18 plus rating on YouTube. Hey, we're coming up on an animal here. I don't know if we get him on the video. It's a what is that, an aardvark? I guess that's an aardvark. Anyway, sorry, I get distracted. Well, let's swing around and get him on the video. I don't know how long he's going to be there. Hopefully I got him on the video. We'll just keep going towards him. I'll talk about the Zelensky for just a minute. So, but I mean, so there's so much information. I mean, people are learning that, there was plenty of opportunity, as Trump pointed out, for Ukraine to end that war at any time. In fact, it could have ended in the first 3 months. Look at him go. Boy, I didn't know they jumped like that, did he? That's pretty cool, isn't it? All right, let's get it, swing it back around. That's too much work. Woo. All right, so enough on Ukraine. You can watch other videos to learn about, everything that's taken place there. Most people didn't know the war started in 2014. In fact, maybe in my next video, I got a CBS, I think it might have been CNN report, and they were reporting on the Civil War back then. And I guess back then CNN actually reported some news instead of propaganda, because it was actually a good clip. And I was like, man, I can't believe this is CNN. All right, let's get into the video. So Stacey Abrams and Kamala Harris are implicated in a $27 billion climate scam. That's according to Douglas McGregor. And Sean Hannity was talking about that too. So we'll see where that goes. See, corrupt Democrat, right? DC Drano, I want to know why Trump called Zelensky a dictator. Here are a few facts, and I had more, but I didn't write them in here. He's in year 6 of his 5-year term. He declared martial law February 2022 and has banned elections since then. Banned 11 political parties. Passed a law in 2022 to censor journalists and combined all news into a government station. And he's also murdered, I told you, he's also murdered journalists over there. Gonzalo, the number one. Journalists investigating his corruption got conscripted and thrown on the front lines to die. I did not know that. Makes sense, though. I mean, if you're going to conscript all the people in your country and throw them into a meat grinder for the Russians to kill, I guess round up the journalists first, right? Especially if they're reporting against you. And then, of course, he points out even Saddam Hussein held elections. Now, I'm not sure if Saddam Hussein's elections were legitimate or not. But anyway, at least he held something. Let's get this video out of the way. This is on the same thing. This is Jim Jordan on government waste. Let's watch that video.
Democrats for now, 2 weeks have been saying instead of stopping the stupid spending, they attack the guy who's exposing the stupid spending. I think we should maybe get rid of the stupid spending. Trans comic opera in Ireland, Sesame Street on Iraqi television. I think maybe we should focus on that. No. Can't do that. And I think this just underscores the fundamental difference between the left and those of us in the Republican Party, those of us conservatives. The left thinks the bureaucrats are smarter than we the people. Got to trust the bureaucracy. You got to trust the experts in the government. I'd rather trust the people. The 77 million people who elected President Trump, who told us he was systematically going to go through these agencies and identify dumb things where taxpayer money is going to. He told us he was going to do it. The American people understood it. He got elected. Now he's carrying out that mission, and they're attacking the guy who's President Trump has put in charge of this effort. The bureaucrats who decided Big Bird and Bert and Ernie on Baghdad TV was a good use of taxpayer money, can't question them, can't do that. Can't question the people in the bureau. Can't question the 108,000 people who work at Treasury. No. They're smarter than the folks President Trump has asked to come in and look at where our tax money is going. Can't question, I think about this. The smartest bureaucrat in the history of the world, Dr. Fauci, the things he told us. We weren't allowed to question him for 2 years, and he ran our lives. And here's the irony. Everything he told us turned out to be false. Told us tell us the virus didn't come from a lab. Yes, it did. We got agencies now that tell us that, confirm that. Told us the vaccinated couldn't get it. Told us the vaccinated couldn't transmit it. He's wrong on both those counts. Told us masks work. Told us 6 feet social distancing was based on science. They just made it up. Here's the kicker. He told us this is the first virus in history where there was no such thing as natural immunity. Can't question him. Gotta trust the bureaucracy. I'd prefer to trust the people. Oh, by the way, Remember when they tried to set up a bureaucracy in the government that was going to tell us what we were allowed to say? They actually had tried to set up the Disinformation Governance Board as if a bunch of federal bureaucrats could tell us what we can say, what we can't say, what's information, what's disinformation. You got to be kidding me. So I'll trust the guy who was elected by 77 million Americans. I'll trust the Constitution. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. You know why they did that in the Constitution? Because that's the guy who puts his name on a ballot and has to get votes. Not the bureaucracy, not the thousands and thousands of people who think they're so much smarter than us regular folks who just get to vote. Trust the guy who was elected and the people he's put in charge of this effort. He told us he was going to do it. The American people elected him to do it. And maybe focus on stopping the stupid spending. After all, we have a $36 trillion debt. Finally, I would just say this. This is a good bill by a good member of our Congress, Mr. Siscomani. We passed it last year. We should pass it again. And with that, I yield back.
All right, so that was Jim Jordan. And this was, I don't know who this is, Luther Skask. I'll put it up above. At 4:30 p.m., Lakeland Dudek's boss put him on leave for helping DOGE find fraud. They want to fire me, he wrote. I confess, I helped DOGE understand the Social Security Administration. Within hours, it was his boss who was fired, and the long-term Social Security waste watcher was elevated to lead the whole agency. Isn't that just poetic justice? I love stories like that. I really do. You know, you do the right thing and you actually get rewarded, and that just doesn't happen very often in life, does it? Certainly hasn't happened to me. Whenever I've fought against the man or bad management in a company, or a lot of times just bad decisions, by management, it always went against me. But anyway, I guess I'm just a rebel. This was Derek Evans. Trump and DOGE lay off 6,000. Now, Sean said it was 7,000 IRS agents. Tomorrow, just 1 week after DOGE began their audit, per the New York Times. So anyway, here's something to hit a Democrat friend with. They were going to hire 88,000, I think it was 88,000, IRS agents to basically scrutinize anybody who made over like 60,000 a year or something like that. Somebody said 66. And just suck the American people dry. And here Trump is laying off IRS agents, and the Democrats are against it. I mean, God. Talk to a Democrat friend, ask, why are you against Trump laying off IRS agents? I mean, do you just love paying taxes? That's how stupid Democrats are, man. Oh my God, I can't believe it. This is Culture War at 2020. I encourage you to follow this guy. Now, this is where I got all the rest of the video. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there's a lot of videos. Trump, in fact, today was reading off some of the line items, and they're just kind of repeating the same ones that we all know about, And but this guy, I don't know how people have time to do this stuff. He went through and he picked up on everything that they found, and which is going to make this a long video, and it's going to bore the hell out of you to a certain degree. I hope that I've got some clips that I'm going to throw in, but if you just want to, maybe while you're cooking dinner, just cut the video on and listen to these. Anyway, let's get started. USAID, I put together the most comprehensive list on X, over 80 USAID payments around the world. Did I miss anything? Well, like I told you, we're still finding more stuff. That Stacey Abrams thing just broke today. My God, I can't keep up with all of this. Millions to HIV clinics in South Africa. 13 plus billion to aid to rebuild Haiti. 1.1 billion of that was funneled by USAID, and another 84 million to Chelsea Clinton. Told you that Clinton Foundation, they better take a good look at that. That Clinton Foundation, they've been getting a lot of government money. Hopefully we'll be able to track some of that in there. Maybe Chelsea, it's time for her to go to jail, right? USAID packages found among Hezbollah weapons cache. Obama admin via USAID funds an Al-Qaeda affiliate known for financially supporting bin Laden and Hamas. $4 billion of USAID money went to Pfizer. Imagine that. 40 million, of course, Bernie Sanders, what a fucking hypocrite that guy is. Pardon my French. Oh my God. Tulsi Gabbard, who, she basically she lost her position in the Democrat Party because she supported Bernie Sanders when nobody else would. She took a lot of heat for that, and then he voted against her nomination because I don't know if it was her, but somebody pointed out, I can't remember who it was, that he'd been taking money from Pfizer. So now you know. Now you know why he voted against Tulsi. He's a real son of a gun. So 40 million was funneled to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We've been over that one. 97% of U.S. aid went to Democrats. That's why I said all Democrats are corrupt. You got a neighbor that's Democrat, you better not trust them, man. You better not trust them. I'm going to tell you that. Don't borrow money from a Democrat. Oh my God. Look, don't let a Democrat borrow money from you. Holy moly, you'll never see that money again. Let's keep going. U.S. aid also bankrolled the education of the infamous al-Qaeda terrorist Anwar al-Alawi. U.S. aid funded Soros operations. We knew about that. U.S. aid funnels money to left-wing nonprofits who pay their employees $300 to $500,000 per year. These employees turn around and donate sizable sums to the Democrat Party. The World Economic Forum revealed $68 million from U.S. aid while penetrating cabinets. And I'm going to put up a picture. This is so funny as hell. You're looking at it right now. This is a Babylon Bee. I tell you what, they come out with some great stuff, don't they? Oh, man, that picture is awesome. But you got to break up the video just a little bit. Make people so that they're not just listening to the video. They want to at least see what's going on. Man, I'm going to tell you. I keep forgetting how deep I am in the forest right here. I mean, I hiked about an hour and a half to get to here. That means I'm in the center of nothing but, hundreds and hundreds or thousands of acres of well, you've seen the sign. I don't know how many acres are in here. God. All right. So, jeez. So I told you I got to watch where I'm going. 2019 alone, Chemonics received $1.5 billion. I don't know who Chemonics is in U.S. aid funding, but they got to be bad if they're getting U.S. aid funded, right? $2 million for Moroccan pottery classes. Can you imagine that? I wish somebody would pay me $1 million to make some pottery. But Democrats are for this, man. Democrats are for that. You got a Democrat. I say, why are you for all of this? I mean, they're protesting Trump eliminating the corruption. Oh, well, let's get to the last one on this page. And then I just wanted to talk about something that just popped into my mind. $2 million to promote tourism in Lebanon. Boy, I'm not sure I want to go to Lebanon right now with Israel bombing the hell out of them. But, we spent $2 million for tourists to go there. But I wanted to talk about, Elon and Trump are talking about giving some of the savings back to the American people, either in a sum of like a $5,000 check, or they're going to give 20% of the money that they're saving back. And a lot of people on X are posting that, oh man, we don't want the money. We just want them to balance the budget. Well, understand that the money's already gone. Okay, I've tried to break down the roles of the branches of government. The legislative branch has already passed that the executive branch has to spend the money. The only thing, but the executive branch manages the money to make sure it's not going to fraud or waste. So all they're doing is they're clawing back some of the fraud and some of the waste. Well, that money's still sitting there, and the money has to be spent. You can't just, all of us or the legislature has to say, okay, we're gonna pass a law that you don't have to spend the money, and we're gonna put that towards the debt. That's not gonna happen. The Democrats are gonna vote against that. Like I told you, the Democrats are trying to destroy the United States. So there's no way they're going to vote to put the money. So they got to spend the money, right? So they're better to spend it on you and me, right? Than some frivolous government program. So anyway, let's see if I can get the next page here. Woo! But that money's got to be spent. So it's one way or another. There's nothing we can do. Woo, we're taking a turn here. Okay. Let's kind of swing around. I'll show you the trail just a little bit. So hopefully you're seeing it there. That's where I'm heading. I guess. And of course, it goes the other direction. You'll be looking behind me. Sorry if the sun, I'll try to keep it off to the side here so the sun doesn't get into the camera here. 20 million for a Sesame Street show in Iraq. Everybody knows about that one. Ukrainians sent to Paris for a fashion week. 1.5 million for DEI in Serbia. $70,000 for a DEI musical in Ireland. Everybody knows about that one. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. $6 million for tourism in Egypt. And Democrats are for this. Talk to a Democrat. Say, why are you for this, man? What is wrong with these people? So anyway, we got this is a picture. This blew my mind. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops are suing the Trump administration for cutting refugee settlement funding. Now, I included that in here for a reason. And what has shocked me is how many of the religions were participating in the fraud of bringing all the illegal aliens, across the border and then funding them. By the way, the reason I put that in, it's clued me in. Trump is clawing back the money that was going to house and feed all of the illegal aliens and, of course, fly them all around the country. And so that funding's being cut off. So I'm a bit concerned about what's going to happen, because once the illegal aliens are not getting any money and they've been cut off from their food stamps and everything and their free lodging, I think we're going to have some riots on our hands. Once you're living in the country and you've been living high on the hog under the Biden administration, illegally, I might add, and Democrats are for that, man. They're for funding all the illegal aliens. But anyway, once you take that money away, they're not going to be happy. So I don't know what's going to happen. He might have to see some violence in the streets, depending on how many illegal aliens you have near you. I would definitely be thinking about a security system, or in my case, I've reinforced the front door. And if you don't have a weapon, at least get the burner, which is a non-lethal approach to an intruder that might come in your house. Sean Hannity advertises it all the time. I don't have one. I got plenty of other ways to defend myself. Not very good. So anyway, let's just keep going. 9 out of 10 U.S. aid dollars spent in 2022 went to contractors, mostly in the D.C. area. Less than 1 in 10 went to frontline groups. $335 million on a diesel-fueled power plant that just sat there because the Afghans can't afford to import diesel. Just keep going. $300 to $500 million on a dam that was deemed too unsafe to use. Millions on healthcare facilities that don't exist. $70 million on contractor fees for projects that were canceled before being started, but they got to keep the money anyway. Contractor built a 500K police training facility that melted when it rained because it was made from sand. DOD paid almost $500 million for 22 cargo planes that were unsafe to fly and were sold as scraps for about $30,000 total. $249 million on incomplete road construction in Afghanistan. $300 million that was spent on making a pier attached to Gaza. You remember that, right? But that was just a psyop, okay? Because what they wanted to do was get the Israelis in there so that they could attack the Hamas. And so but I mean, for us to spend $300 million for a psyop, I mean, I was just stupid. But $300 million was spent on making a pier attached to Gaza, which got swept away by the waves, and the $200 million they had to spend to dismantle it. So we spent $500 million just so the Israelis could conduct a military operation in Gaza. Does that sound like a good use of your taxpayer money? Why couldn't we just give them ships and let them land on the shore rather than building a pier? And if you remember the story, the pier was there so that we could give food. It was supposed to allow us to get food aid to the Palestinians. Anyway, let's keep going. The pier. U.S. aid using taxpayer money to run the child sex trafficking enterprise, most notably Save the Children. Have you ever heard of that organization? I didn't know it was a child sex trafficking enterprise. where Jill Biden was on the board. I tell you, the Bidens, they are the most corrupt, evil, demonic family. Think of the Addams family. The Addams family, we always made fun of them in the videos and stuff, but they were really good people. The Clintons, man, they are the Addams family, except on the evil side, man. Oh my God. Crazy, huh? So here we got a video. This was Alex Jones. I just thought this was funny as hell. He called it Fartgate. So let's watch that video.
Fartgate. And that's just one fund that DOGE found. They dropped the hammer on $8.2 million USDA contract. It literally calls it cow farts in the contract. To stick a giant hose up their ass all the time, tortures the hell out of them. You imagine a giant hose up your ass and a big bag on your back? That's what they like to do to you. Hell, they already cut our sons' penises off. See what they get us to do? Their weird rituals of submission? The UK, Germany are trying to make people that are going to raise cows. Oh, you can have cows. You just got to pipe all their farts into a bag and then put it into a tank and then inject it into a mine shaft. They're already doing that all over the world. They have these giant scrubbers that grab all the air and then process out carbon dioxide and inject it into mine shafts. You can't make it up. They found $8+ million in one federal fund to torture cows. Every time I mention this over the years, it's been going on for 15 years. People don't believe me until they see the videos where they shove giant hoses up milk cows' butts and put a bag on their back. And then they take the methane and inject it into mine shafts for global warming mitigation. Again, and I told you for years, I said they're teaching you cow burps and farts are bad. Because methane comes out of both, particularly the flatulence. There's a lot more methane there, obviously, because of the process of the bacteria processing the food in your gut. And the bacteria flatulate methane. That's what it is. Bacteria fart. And then that's how your intestines work. And then it pushes the waste product after your body's extracted the vitamins and minerals out through your lower intestine into your colon. And everybody knows how that works, right? Well, that's inherently bad and evil. And I told you, first they teach you cow farting is bad. Now I have New York Times articles last year saying humans are bad for exhaling and farting. Yes, farting is bad. No, it's part of the damn atmosphere. Methane helps keep the atmosphere on the planet. So I've got that. Fartgate. And that's just one fund that DOGE found. They dropped the hammer on $8.2 million USDA contract. It literally calls it cow farts in the contract. To stick a giant hose up their ass all the time, tortures the hell out of them. You imagine a giant hose up your ass and a big bag on your back? That's what they like to do to you. Hell, they already cut our sons' penises off. See what they get us to do? Their weird rituals of submission? The UK, Germany are trying to make people that are going to raise cows. Oh, you can have cows. You just got to pipe all their farts into a bag and then put it into a tank and then inject it into a mine shaft. They're already doing that all over the world. They have these giant scrubbers that grab all the air and then process out carbon dioxide and inject it into mine shafts. You can't make it up. That's the kind of stuff I've got here today. And it goes on and on and on and on. Oh, they're so mean to these cows, folks. They're torturing them. At least the beagles that Fauci removed the larynxes of and then put flesh-eating worms on them. At least that would take a few days for them to eat them to death. At least they get to die in 2-3 days. Well, not these cows. They get to live years with giant hoses shoved up their asses. Here's video, folks. I shouldn't laugh. This is sick. That poor cow. Oh, but they're the liberal saviors. They're a sick cult that want to see what they can get us to do. Yeah, there's torturing beagles and German shepherds to death. And you ask, what's it about? Well, it came out in memos. That's why they all do this. It's about testing lab workers to see what they'll do All of this is about a crap test, an SH-T test. The left's, will you use our pronouns and cut your daughter's breast off? Will you put your son on Prozac and Ritalin? Will you put your son on puberty blockers and later chop his penis off? Will you let hardened rapists and murderers out of prison that are illegal aliens, let them kill you again, kill more? Trump's crap test is, I'm going to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, tyranny, oh, it's so horrible.
I have no clue where I am. I will come back and make a hiking video. This has been the most awesome trail. I was just hiking for a while. First I had a plane buzzing me for a while. He was just doing circles. I don't know if he knew I was down here. Then anyway, if you haven't watched it, you got to check out Sean Hannity with Elon Musk and Trump. And he was playing that interview, and I wanted to listen to that. So we're somewhere. I have no clue. I mean, I know how to get back, I think. Anyway, let's just kind of walk around and finish up the video. I'm going to see what this is over here. By the way, I never did identify that animal back there, but saw another deer, actually got real close to it. Man, we are way back here. Holy moly. All right, so I don't think I finished reading this. While Democrats fear an unelected billionaire making government more efficient, Republicans argue that DOGE is essential to tackling the $36 trillion national debt and holding Washington accountable, source Fox News Digital. So now we get into more readings. Hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, and even fertilizer used to support the unprecedented poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan, benefiting the Taliban. USAID has been funding regime change all around the world for years. We've talked about that. 90 million in USAID for HIV, research in San Francisco, or to treat it. Going to be real awkward when USAID cuts, dry up the fentanyl trafficking. 10 million worth of taxpayer money was spent on creating transgender mice, rats, and monkeys. Oh, this is cool. We got a little picnic table coming up here. So if I do come back and make a hiking video, maybe bring some fruit, and we could really hike around back here. This is cool. All right, so let's see, where was I at? USAID staff, or 10 million, wait a minute, yeah. USAID staff has been reduced by 97%, with only 294 USAID staff out of the original 10,000 remaining. DOGE funds nearly 5,000 media outlets funded by USAID alone, including Politico, New York Times, and even the BBC. So, oh man, we got a good view coming up here. Now I know why there's a picnic table right here. Well, we're down by the river. Oh, damn. I didn't even know I was getting close to the river. All right, let's get over here and get a video of that in just a minute. 500 million fueling a worldwide industry of propaganda and censorship. Pfizer was the top contract for USAID. Arrest Albert Bourla, B-O-U-R-L-A. I don't know who that is. So, and then this is Insurrection Barbie. The freeze of funding from USAID has apparently thrown the entire global media apparatus into freefall. In 2023, USAID funded training and support for 6,200 journalists, assisted 707 non-state news outlets, and supported 279 media sector civil society organizations dedicated to strengthening independent media. The 2025 foreign aid budget from USAID included $268 million for the global media cartel. Reporters Without Borders are reporting that global media has come to a standstill. The main recipient of USAID funds is Ukraine media. 9/10 cannot survive without USAID money. Global media is begging rich billionaires or left-wing donors to pick up where USAID has stopped. Well, let's hope that... Well, you know what? If you're a left-wing billionaire, by the way, the left has a lot more billionaires than the Republicans do. So let's get down here by the river. I thought I'd hiked all of this river. I'm assuming this is the Ocklawaha River, but we'll wait till we get there. USAID employees donated to Kamala Harris for president 1,576 times. Elon Omar supports U.S. aid because almost 2.3 million of our tax dollars were wasted on Somalia. Tax dollars have been used to fund the media operations in 30 different countries. 30 different countries via U.S. aid funds. How many color revolutions have been funded by U.S. aid? Color revolution is what they did. You know, you go in and you fund protests and everything else, sometimes even violent extremists, and you overthrow the government. If you didn't understand, that's what happened in Ukraine. BLM, by the way, they're finding out USA was funding BLM. I was always wondering if those people were getting paid to do all those riots and everything. Looks like they were. BLM burned down cities. BLM was funded by USAID. BLM was supported by politicians, well, Democrats, well, maybe some RINOs. Contract to build a power plant in Afghanistan that was paid for through USAID. It was never finished. Firm that built the power plant that never got finished and doesn't work, they're represented by John Podesta and his lobbying group. Project was intended to create 300,000 jobs by 2013. After 2 years, it had only created 2,458 jobs. Let's take a break there because I'm going to reorient the camera here so that we can get a good view of what I'm looking at, and we'll continue the video on the next page. So here's a view of the water. I actually think I know where I am. This is Sunny Hill North over here, and that's just a road that goes all the way down the river. I just didn't know we could hike on this side of the river. Pretty cool. Wouldn't this be a great place to throw in a fish hook? I bet you could probably get something from here. Huh. I'll be damned. Of course, now I got to hike back. That ain't going to be easy. Oh, man, the temperature here in Florida is going to go down to, holy moly, in the 20s tonight. And that is cold for Florida. Oh, my God. So, anyway, let's just get some hiking here for the remainder of the video. We're almost there. I mean, I know you're like, God, please let it in, let it in. I know, I understand where you're coming from, man. I'm like, God almighty, when I put this together. All right, so a man claims that ever since Donald Trump and Elon Musk cut off USAID funding, the skies above him completely cleared out of single chemtrail, not a single chemtrail in sight. Now, a lot of people feel that Bill Gates was seeding the skies supposedly in an attempt to eliminate global warming, but a lot of people saying it was doing a lot of environmental damage. If you didn't understand what that was all about, and so I just wanted to explain that entry. And so what he's saying is that looks like Bill Gates is not getting his funding anymore. Let's kind of look over here at the river while we're hiking along on this trail. Let's see, 27 million of grants in USAID to Tide Center, which has housed the 501c3 for Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation and FJP. I don't know what FJP is, but once again, just showing that Black Lives Matter. We were wondering, you know, how those people were protesting. You notice you haven't seen any of those left-wing protests now that we're, and Trump went about it the right way. He didn't cut all these people off from their money before, and now that he's got them cut off, you know, that's gonna really save a lot of cities and a lot of left-wing lunatics from going out. USAID watching DOGE inch closer to the line item for a $30 million of tunnel maintenance on Little St. James. Where's Little St. James? I'm not sure on that one. So here we got Kristi Noem, and I wanted to play this brief video for you because I thought this was good. And I'll just read it to you first. Tonight, I'm announcing a nationwide and international multi-million-dollar ad campaign warning illegal aliens to leave our country now or face deportation with the inability to return to the United States. This serves as a strong warning to criminal illegal aliens to not come to America. If they do, they will be hunted down and deported. All right, let's watch that video now.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border and putting America first. Let me deliver a message from President Trump to the world. If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For too long, weak leadership has left our borders wide open, flooding our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. Well, those days are over. Under President Trump, we are defending American families and restoring their safety. If you try to enter illegally, you will be caught, you will be removed, and you will never return. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. If you break it, you'll find consequences. Strong borders mean a stronger America. President Trump is making America safe again.
All right, so that was Kristi Noem. Boy, I tell you, you know, all the people, I mean, a lot of people, they were always saying how Trump was a male chauvinist and that he hates women. He certainly does have a lot of women in his administration, doesn't he? And boy, are they good looking. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but you know, that's not his criteria for getting them in there. I mean, but these women are so freaking smart. You know, I mean, Kristi Noem's sharp as, and I love Trump's new press secretary. I mean, the media tries to get her on a gotcha and she just puts them right in their place. I hope I'm kind of hidden back. I'm not sure. I was expecting to while I'm just moving a circle and we end up back at the picnic table. All right, sorry, no, got off on a tangent there. USAID spent $159 billion to build poorly made schools in Pakistan. 2006 archived USAID website proudly claims the agency supported revolutions in Ukraine, Georgia, Lebanon, and Kazakhstan. Politico received $8 million from USAID. Now, those were in the form of subscriptions, but they were like $10,000 subscription. Are you going to subscribe to a political organization for $10,000? I don't think so. Yeah, I did just move in a circle. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm on my way back. All right, never mind. Just, let's see. 34.3 million that Politico has received from various swampy federal government agencies. 90% of Ukraine media was funded by USAID. That was amazing. That was something that's definitely true. The media has ceased to exist in Ukraine because of the funding. I'm going to turn the camera off to the side so that you can just kind of enjoy the foliage so that the sun doesn't get in the picture here. Where was I? USAID funded a Gaza rap artist to produce anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic songs for the tune of $3 million. 2014 coup in Ukraine, we already talked about that in many videos. So here's a video of HHS, because now we got to get into some other news. I'm done, well, I'm not quite done, but we're going to watch Secretary RFK Jr. just announced he's creating a vaccine injury report system with 90,000 employees at Health and Human Services. Now, this video was meant to be in my last video, but I forgot to put it in. Yeah, his gators back here for sure. Look at that. Yeah, swampy area. Got to keep an eye out for him. All right, so let's watch that video now.
This profile is for these products.
Do you think the COVID vaccine was safe and the boosters were safe? I mean, a lot of people talk about adverse effects.
We don't have good data on it, and that is a crime. The fact that we don't have a surveillance system that actually works. In 2010, CDC has a surveillance system called the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. And it's supposed to pick up injuries. But CDC did a study of that system in 2010. And that study said, and this is a published study by CDC, that it captures less than 1% of the vaccine injuries. That's inexcusable. Congress has repeatedly, and the Institute of Medicine, the National Academy of Sciences, have repeatedly ordered CDC to put together a better vaccine.
Will you require it?
And we will do that right away.
There's rumors out there that as many as 50% of the employees of HHS will be cut in the restructuring of government that DOGE is helping President Trump carry out. And people are wringing their hands. Your response to that?
I don't know anything about 50% of people being cut. There's 90,000 employees.
Okay. So now we just continue. 2.4 million USAID mission in North Central Island to teach the natives about DEI. USAID administrator boasted about shipping a mobile power plant big enough to power 100,000 homes, 1,700 generators, and 360 heating shelters to Ukraine for a cost of $1 billion. I told you about Bill Gates. Bill Gates got currency from USAID to inject babies with deadly malaria vaccines and was paid for it. He did that in Africa, by the way. They were doing experimenting on the kids over there. That's true. I mean, unbelievable how evil Bill Gates is. 30 million in condoms for Gaza. Now, we talked about that. That was actually Malaysia. But anyway, still 50 million in condoms. Like Elon Musk said, that's a hell of a lot of money for condoms. So, well, unless I think of something else, I got to find my way back. And that's why I got the sweatshirt wrapped around me, because it's going to get cold on the way back. I have a feeling. Hopefully we'll get some more wildlife on the video. I sort of seen a lot of deer, but I was kind of rigged up for selfie mode, but now I'm rigged up for hiking mode. So hopefully we'll get another clip. If not, peace out. Stay free. All right, so that was Alex Jones on Fartgate. So here we go. And of course, we know about this. Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion US aid loan guarantee unless Ukraine fired the prosecutor investigating his son's company. Victoria Nuland funded the Ukrainian coup with US aid money. That was back in 2014. US aid is the heart of the war between Ukraine and Russia. Yep, we've been over that in previous videos. I got to keep an eye on the trail here. US aid gave $27 million to support Soros-funded AGs, attorney generals. You know, how do you think all these attorney generals get in the country? Everybody thought Soros was spending his own money. He was actually, what a way to do it. He would get the money from US aid, so it was our taxpayer money, and then Soros would take that money and buy attorney generals so that they can let the criminals out on the streets. Luckily, it was mostly in Democrat areas, but still, I always wondered how all those attorney generals got in office, but they were funded by our tax dollars. Unbelievable. Where was I? Oh, Levi Strauss is funded by USAID. $2.5 million for electric vehicles for Vietnam. $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for nonprofit linked to designated terrorist organizations. Millions for EcoHealth, which was involved in the research at the Wuhan lab. Hundreds of thousands of meals that went to Al-Qaeda-affiliated fires in Syria. Funding to print personalized contraceptives and birth control devices in developing. And Democrats are for this, man. Democrats are for this. Developing countries. So this is Mario in the fall. Just kidding. Whew, I got to take a break. Reading all this, this is wearing me out. Are you getting tired? Is your mind exploding right now? Is your brain just going? Now you might say, "Oh, Kirk, that cybersecurity guy. How can you verify all this?" Well, I know about a quarter of these are for sure true because I've investigated them myself, and we've known about a lot of them for quite some time. And of course, you've got various sources like Trump himself and Elon who have come out and said, yes, these are all true. So it's not just this guy that's putting all this together. So I know at least a quarter to half of these for sure. A lot of them, like you, I'm just hearing about them for the first time. So Mario in the fall. House Democrats try to kill Elon's DOGE program. They need just 3 GOP defectors. Now, if you didn't know, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins were the 2 Republicans that voted against Kash Patel. And, Susan Collins is a Democrat. She's out of Maine. And so that's, I don't know why she even runs as a Republican. She just should run as a Democrat. But Lisa Murkowski, now, if you didn't know, I just want to give you the background there. Her family owns Alaska, and they've been politically in charge of Alaska for many, many years. And so what they did was she would have never gotten elected, so they redid how Alaska does this. It's a weird voting system where it's you take, the top 3 candidates and then they vote again and they vote like 3 times. And so they rigged the voting because, if Alaska went like heavily for Trump, maybe 70-30 or something like that. But she got in because she rigged the voting system so that she could win. So that's how that worked. I'm surprised that a lot of people that when they say, why would Lisa Murkowski vote against Trump? Well, because she's a Democrat, man. She rigged the voting system. She's corrupt as hell. All right, so let's see. They're desperately hunting for 3 Republicans to flip, targeting, something's making noise over here. What the hell? Wait a minute. I don't know, it's pretty big. All right, I got to keep an eye out here. Sorry, where was I? I'll keep losing my fun. they're targeting Mike Lawler, I don't know who he is, Republican, New York, Brian Fitzpatrick, Republican, Pennsylvania, and Don Bacon, Republican, New England, to help block Elon's reforms. While Democrats fear an unelected billionaire making government more efficient, Republicans argue that DOGE is essential to tackling the $36 trillion national debt and holding Washington accountable. Source, Fox News Digital. Tell you what, I'm going to take a pause here, and we'll get back to reading this in just a few. I want to see what the hell this is. All right, hold on. All right, on the way back, just a couple of little things to add to the video. I told you that when silver breaks 33, that's kind of an inflection point, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I won't just bounce back, but now I think we're going to bounce between 32 and 34 for a while. Or you could see a skyrocket there. Yeah, but silver's 33, I don't know, 33.24 or so. And then gold's at 29.50 right now, which that means it's going to hit 3,000 probably not before too long. In fact, I think it was Bank of America's got it projected at $3,100 for an ounce of gold. I wouldn't touch gold right now. And of course, we got the audit coming up of the of Fort Knox. Boy, I tell you, I think the whole world, when they open the doors of Fort Knox, the whole world is going to be watching. The other tidbit I wanted to give you is Benny Johnson. He's on Rumble. I don't know if he's on YouTube or not. I just watch him on Rumble. He's really good, actually. And he was up there with the Kash Patel vote. And I don't know, he's gotten exclusive access to Kash Patel. So they're going to be hanging out, making either live streams or videos, or both probably, for the next 3 days. So it'll be real interesting to see what, and I tell you, I'm going to be glued to that like a magnet, because I just think Kash Patel is, he's really going to clean up the FBI. I don't know about you, but I wanted to be an FBI agent when I was getting out of college, and they wouldn't take me because I had smoked marijuana at one point in my life when I was 14 years old, which didn't make any sense to me. And then we come to find out some of the most corrupt people ever worked at the FBI, in later years. At least I wasn't corrupt, Oh my God. And then of course I got the top secret clearance, SBI at the NSA. So, I mean, their criteria back then was really stupid. So good thing I didn't get in the FBI. Trump's talking about the Department of Education. Like I said, he can't disband it because it was created by Congress, but he is going to move that money back to the states. He was pointing out that we're 40th overall in out of 40 countries that were evaluated. We've got the 40th worst education system in the world. So that tells you, and we spend the most per pupil. So obviously there's room for reform there. Or the teachers unions are going to fight that tooth and nail. But if they were producing results, I would say, okay, let's keep it. But obviously they're not. I mean, and then somebody was pointing out, I thought this was a good call in, and this would be a good way. A lot of people send their kids to college and they don't get the education. I mean, kids come out of college, from what I understand, don't know how to balance a checkbook. And then one guy said he always gives, the students in his class, I guess he was a good professor, a civics exam to ask them, to pass the civics exam that a legal immigrant coming to the United States has to pass. 100% of the students failed the civics exam. So if you got a kid going to college, they are not getting the education that you think they're getting. In fact, they're being indoctrinated into all kinds of left-wing DEI bullcrap. Now, supposedly a lot of that DEI stuff has been eliminated, but they're being brainwashed, man. And so better, if I had a kid, I'd be going Coast Guard, number 1, number 2, vocational school. Teach them how to be an electrician. Plumber, you're going to make a ton of money as a plumber, but that is one dirty job. I'm not sure. But if you're going to make more as a plumber than you are as an electrician. And even an electrician can be hard work because you got to crawl around in some pretty tough places to pull that wire and everything. Or, be up in an attic on a freaking hotter than crap day. So, all the trades they're tough work, but you can make hundreds of thousands, and especially if you develop, what you want to do is you work your way into that profession and you work it for a while, and then you break off and form your own business. So how many electricians do you know that have a staff of people that work underneath them, but they started out obviously working for somebody? So you can always work your way into that. Same with, construction. You start out as a carpenter, and then eventually, hopefully, you'll start your own construction company. All right, that's it. I just wanted to point all that out. Oh, last thing is I told you that real estate in Washington, D.C. was going to drop. Man, has it dropped. I'm not saying it's a good time to buy in the Washington, D.C. area, but it's certainly not a good time to own in the Washington, D.C. area. I mean, these cuts they're doing, something else, man. Hope you're enjoying the hike. I know I am. There's the sun setting on me, and it's getting cold. I'm sorry, I had a deer, man. I couldn't get the camera on quick enough. He was beautiful. So I think I've seen about maybe 8 deer today, but I couldn't get any on the video, man. They just, I don't know if they do hunting back here. Like when I'm at other parks, a lot of times the deer are not afraid of me, but here they really, as soon as they identify you, they're off. And can you imagine, how does a deer run through that? I mean, can you imagine how tough their hide is? Because you're out here on the main trail and they just right into the weeds. Can you imagine trying to walk through that? Anyway, but I'm off on a tangent. All right, so there you go.